Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to be looking at the McFarlane DC Multiverse Superboy Prime action figure. This is Superboy in an armored outfit, looks similar to Anti-Monitor. Now, I'm happy to get this guy, but not crazy excited. I would have rather had a regular Superboy in pretty much any of his other looks before this Superboy Prime. Still looks to be a pretty cool figure. So let's check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane toys, ages 12 plus, DC Multiverse Superboy Prime. Here's the package. Looks like he has no traditional accessories, simply a collector's card and a flight stand. One side, Superboy Prime from Infinite Crisis. Other side, Superboy Prime. The bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. The back side, Superboy Prime posed up. And here are a bunch of other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures you should check out. I got my figure from Amazon.com. It was delayed, but arrived the next day. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He doesn't come with any traditional accessories. He has a transparent flight stand and a collector's card. But before we take a look at those, let's talk about and check out the actual figure. So this is Superboy Prime. He's a Superboy from a parallel dimension. He was a hero at one point, but he's turned into a villain. He calls himself Superboy Prime because he believes he is the true and only Superboy out there. So he gets jealous and tends to fight or try to destroy, take out the other Superboys. So let's take a look at him. Face, it doesn't look bad. Definitely reminds me of Superman. Has that curl, but it's done differently, so I like that. It's kind of unique, kind of different, but very familiar. He's got the classic Superman logo on his chest. I believe in his parallel Earth, he's Superboy, but there is no Superman. He's pretty much the Superman of that universe. He's in this armored outfit, which is kind of odd. Reminds me of Anti-Monitor. Now, there are different versions of him. I've seen some people do some head swaps, for example, onto the black suit of Zack Snyder's Superman, and it looks pretty cool. I'll definitely try that later in the video. Now, I mentioned not really wanting this version of Superboy. I'm not going to lie, that's true. I'd rather have a more traditional version, but the fact that he's a villain makes it kind of cool. Large shoulder pads, these tubes coming out. He's got tubes from his back to his forearms, and it's going to prevent you from going really any further back than this. Cape looks pretty good, very soft, very bendable. Double jointed elbows, double jointed knees. Blue, pretty dark color. Red looks pretty traditional. Not bad looking figure. I've seen some cool swaps, so I'm going to try some in this video. Let's take a closer look at his head or face sculpt. It looks a little bit soft. Not bad though. Like I said, different, but very familiar. One comment about his face. He does have the side eyes thing going on. He's looking to the left, but it's really not that bad with this figure. Much more noticeable with the Three Jokers Batgirl. So it really doesn't bother me with this guy too much. So this guy has been portrayed as both a hero and villain more than once. When he was first introduced in Crisis on Infinite Earths, he was a hero. Later they brought him back in Infinity Crisis, and he was a villain wearing the Anti-Monitor suit. And then apparently in Death Metal recently, he was on the hero side. So back and forth. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with the display stand. Here's his display stand. It's a typical transparent flight stand. It comes in two pieces. When the two pieces are attached, it'll look like this. It's got a circular base, says DC on it. It's got one peg at the bottom, so you can use it as a display stand without the flight post if you'd prefer. Then it's got this post that goes up. It has this clamp up here. It can rotate. It's going to be hinged. And it can open up to hold your figure. Here's Superboy on the regular part of the stand. And here's Superboy Prime in midair using the flight stand. He doesn't come with any of his own accessories, so I thought to myself, what else could I add? I saw some pretty cool pictures on Instagram, some hand and head swaps. Here's Superboy Prime next to the Action Comics number 1000 Superman, and this is the angry variant that came with the Devastator 2-pack. I was curious if his hands and head would work on this guy. Here's Superboy Prime with the angry Superman head and hands. Now the hands are pretty loose on there, but the head fits pretty nicely. And the angry head sort of works. Makes sense, because Superboy Prime is typically a pretty angry character. The head is just a little bit too Clark Kent Superman-ish for me, but the angry expression works for this character. Here's a Superboy Prime head on the black suit Superman from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Superboy Prime wore an outfit like this recently in the comics. The skin tones don't match, but it looks pretty good. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.25 inches tall, which can translate to about 18.5 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Starting with his head here, of course, it can rotate from side to side, can look up and down about that far, can tilt his head from one side to the other, give him a good amount of personality. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes up more than 90 degrees, not really obstructed by the shoulder pad, it's soft, gets out of the way, up, down, around, all that good stuff. He does have a butterfly joint between his shoulder and chest area, just increasing the range of motion. Bicep cut, double jointed elbows. His wrist has a ball in it, can rotate, it's going to be hinged as well. In his torso here, he's got a ball joint, can rotate around, go forward and back. Another ball joint in his waist, rotate around, go forward and back, giving him a very nice range of motion in his torso area. His legs completely does the splits, not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation, pretty minimal. Legs go forward about that far. Back, not too much. Double jointed knees, so they go all the way back. Then his ankle here goes forward and back, can rotate, can tilt and rock. And he's got 2 articulation. Here's Superboy Prime, flying above the skies of Metropolis. Superman ends up confronting Superboy Prime, and before long, things start to get heated. And I wasn't joking when I said heated. Here's Superboy Prime and Superman both using their heat vision against one another. At this point, Superman realizes they're pretty much an equal match. He's going to have to come up with something clever to take him down. Superman contacts Flash from the Justice League. He knows what has to be done. Superboy Prime wants to get rid of the other Superboys and establish himself as the only Superboy in the multiverse. So he's going to have Flash break through the Speed Force barrier, break through the multiverse, and bring in some backup. Flash ended up bringing a couple different Superboys through the multiverse. They're going to take down Superboy Prime and defend the name Superboy. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to Lobo. McFarlane doesn't release figures in traditional waves, but these 2 figures came out together. Here is Superboy Prime, next to the Action Comics number 1000 Superman. Then, next to the Rebirth Superman. And here, next to the Henry Cavill movie Superman. Here's Superboy Prime in his armored suit, next to a Superman in his armored Unchained suit. Here's Superboy Prime, next to all the other Superman figures. If you include Bizarro, there have been a total of 13 Superman figures. I definitely don't count Superboy Prime among them. Now let's check him out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to Lobo and Lex Luthor in his green armored power suit. And here he is, next to the 3 Jokers, Batgirl and Comedian Joker, as well as the Mortal Kombat 11 Joker. Then, next to the Batman Beyond Batwoman, Joker Batman Robot, and Blight from the Build-A-Figure Batman Beyond wave. Then, next to a hazmat suit Batman, and a Birds of Prey Harley Quinn. Here's Superboy Prime, next to the Unchained Armored Superman Energized variant, and the Curse of the White Knight Azrael Batman Armor Silver variant. Then, next to the Curse of the White Knight 2-pack, Batman vs. Azrael in his Batman armor. And like I said before, McFarlane doesn't really drop traditional waves, but these 4 figures were found in a recent assortment together at Target. Now let's check him out, next to some other Superboy figures. Here he is with the Mattel DC Universe Classics 90s Superboy. Then, next to a DC Collectibles, Super Sons Superboy. Now let's check him out, next to some other action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the larger action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. Here he is, with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, next to some more McFarlane toys. These ones are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here, with some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some Mezco 1/12 collective figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here, next to some Mafex figures. Then, next to some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. Overall, it's a pretty nice figure, well executed. He looks pretty good. His articulation is nice. His accessories are non-existent. But is he really necessary? At least in my collection, he's definitely not necessary. I am pleased that he's a villain and not just another Superboy. But I would have much rather had a Superboy in a t-shirt or the leather jacket version before this guy. That being said, he is a nice figure and a great addition to the Superman family. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say about the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I will talk to you guys real soon.